Hey everybody, welcome back. Northernlion plays the Binding of Isaac AFTERBIRTH. Plus, we're never gonna lose again. Don't pick the Lost. My brain was like, maybe we should pick the Lost accidentally, and I said no. Try to make me ruin the streak now, and I said no. Hask, Z6RA. Let me get comfortable here. Rate of fire is good. Damage is fine. Speed is fine. 100% chance to deal with the devil. Because we're on an XL floor. Okay, so we're guaranteed to deal with the devil unless we die for now. And we start with the shovel. I think the shovel is... You know, that's why I like these Eden runs. You know, you get an easy bit of commentary right at the start. Because you're like, how do I evaluate what we've got going on? Well, we'll start with the easy one. Big fan. Well, I'm not a big fan of it. And that wasn't a pun. It was just me making a cutesy byline. Straight up, I think I'm probably going to dump the shovel, which has like a 1 in 12 chance to give you a crawl space that has 3 pennies or a garbage trinket in it. And I'm going to take Crack the Sky, which is a wonderful item made in God's own image. Okay, you got something interesting going on here. We could roll D-Infinity. If I choose not to roll D-Infinity, it has nothing to do with the fact that it's too zany. I love the Zane. It has everything to do with the fact that we had it fairly recently, I think, but again, you're kind of asking me to go back in my memory for like a month here. Didn't we have it? Like, you might have seen a D-Infinity run last week, but for me, it was recorded, you know, when there was still snow on the ground. Obviously, that's a joke. I live in Vancouver. It snows maybe twice a year here. And when it does, people are going outside with their artisanal pink Himalayan salt, putting it out there, giving it a little seasoning. This will stop the throngs of open house realtors from slipping on the sidewalk outside of my place. Hold up a second. We got one more item room, and this is what I want to kind of take a peek at. So for right now, I think I've got maximum Zane potential. We are going to deposit... Oh, I like this too. Yeah. Do it like this. Do it like this. Do it like this. He's a genius. We're going to deposit Crack the Sky on that item room safely. What are we going to do after that? There's a tinted rock. I didn't even notice. I don't think I had any bombs when I came through here last time. It's a weird run to start with, but I think that this is our best case scenario. Then, you're going to put the black hole on the pedestal. You're going to use the D6 to reroll. It becomes the bean. It's highly embarrassing, because that is also trash. And I want to just say, you know, I'm doing my darndest to work my way, you know, through a myriad series of just terrible spacebar items. Like, apparently, okay, I love the trinket, but apparently this floor is, like, programmed to only give you spacebar items that offer you, like, almost no value, okay? Now, Crack the Sky is lovely. D-Infinity can be a game winner. It's almost too easy, which is why I'm, you know, trying to make something else work for me here. Let's go back and reroll and get a passive, please. Oh, that'll do. That'll do. So I am going to make a decision that is going to be controversial. I think the reverberations of the effects of the repercussions of the consequences of this decision are going to be some of the most important conversations we ever have about this series. I'm going to leave behind the Zane-filled D-Infinity in order to take Crack the Sky. Why am I doing that? I just feel like if you force the Zane, it's not zany. And that's always my argument in my own defense when those situations come up. But, you know, if you got the D-Infinity, you never really feel anchored in something. If you're not anchored, how can you sail? Now, that's a metaphor that doesn't make sense, but I gotta be honest, I'm not much of a seaman. Pardon me? I like the idea of... Well, plus we had that Missing No run like 2 episodes ago. So I'm kind of like primed. Let's take Demon Baby. I'm kind of primed to not want to do another run just like that right away, but it's not because out of a sense of self-preservation. Because again, I've said it 1,000 times, I think the D-Infinity, if anything, is probably too strong. All you need is like the perfect timing on a reroll, and the perfect timing is really like there's a huge tolerance for it. So how does this run look now, one floor deeper? Well, technically, HP is better. Damage is a little better. The real draw, probably a bit of a waste there. Our spacebar item is much, much better, and our rate of fire is improved drastically. But apart from that, it's not a guaranteed win yet. But it's not too far away from it, in my opinion. It becomes hard, and, you know, don't take that out of context. It becomes hard to conceptualize the pace of a run when you're on a streak. And I know you're like, oh my god, please stop talking about Isaac. Okay, I'm waiting for other inspiration to strike me. That doesn't bother you, I hope. He's gonna get crushed. Let's go. Because, you know, when there's no loss in living memory on this save file, it becomes hard to remember. Like, what does it take for a loss to happen? If I'm being real with you, it takes picking that up. It's one of those situations. We might, and let me like spin a yarn for you. There is an alternate timeline in which this run actually is a loss. What it entails was us not getting hit on the boss. As weird as that might sound, we would have had 1.5 Spirit Hearts after taking Spirit of the Night, and as a result, we probably would have gone for it. Then, all it takes is a couple of bad rooms, we find ourselves in a terrible situation. Bob's your uncle, we're dead. So instead, we're making the mature decision that I almost never do. I was just gonna say, if that's the Hierophant, I'm really gonna regret having not picked up the flying item, but hey, that's the way the cookie crumbles, baby! I've been experimenting with, adding like a little name for people. You know, like Wolverine always calls people Bub. Michael Rappaport always calls people Duke for some reason. It's real weird. I don't understand it. I think, you know, when you live your life in the public eye, your brain gets a little warped. And like, my brain's a little warped, absolutely. So that's why I'm trying to come up with my own little Wolverine. I've been calling people the Jesse Pinkman B word a lot. But I think that people are taking offense to it. It turns out people don't like being called a snitch, but with a B. Unless you've, you know, established that in the preconceived conversation. You say like, hey, just so you know, when I say this, I'm not being offensive to you. It's really just a way of me trying to be funny. And it's just, it's selfish on my own part. Can't be going around cursing at people. They might take it the wrong way. Can't really use Busta. That one's more like, you know, Warren G and Nate Dogg regulated that word out of existence, I recall. I'm gonna stick with what we got right now. I'm very disappointed, by the way, no bombs. Unhappy with that. I mean, we would have gotten like another Spirit Heart immediately anyway, but... Ooh, you are very sneaky. Well, you know what? That's like the perfect scenario. Just want to make sure I'm getting down to brass tacks here, okay? I'm not going to use the Hierophant card. And the reason I'm not going to use the Hierophant card... I'm going to use the Hierophant card. And the reason I'm going to use the Hierophant card is so that we can pick up Spirit of the Night. Then, this door stayed open. Which is just a miraculous and golden gift. There's a key. There's a Spirit Heart. There's a bomb. What do you do with the bomb? Immediately toss it down here. Inside of the secret room, what do you get? Well, really... 2 pennies, shop key, which is essentially completely irrelevant. We could go into our shop, blow up the donation machine, have enough money to buy whatever, but what I'm going to do instead is look for second secret room, which was garbage. Let's head down to the next floor. I think we're set. I honestly do. Now that we're in this position, I'm like, okay, we're good to go. Now I can get to talking about some anecdotes, of which I'm going to have to manufacture them. I ain't got any for myself. You know, it's been a relatively uneventful week in the life of Ryan, a.k.a. the meat space counterpart of Northernlion, who increasingly is having his identity subverted by the amount of time that I spend in Persona Online. I'm getting like, doing a little bit of latent backlogging passive backlogging, if you want to put it that way. Those of you who have watched this channel for a long time will know, like, once a year, I go visit my ancestral home, aka my parents. I say ancestral home, it makes it sound more exotic. I fly across the country to a place that's pretty much culturally very similar to where I live right now, but is not geographically in the same position. As a result, you know, I engage in travel. Aviation, have you heard of it? The elegant way to travel. And, you know, a lot has been made, or, you know, we talked about it on the NLSS like 2 days ago, depending on when you watch this video, but, you know, Austin was saying he hates to fly, and I understand. We have broken brains. I hated to fly for a long time. You get on a bus, you know, I fall asleep, I'm so comfortable. You get on an airplane, you're like, your brain's sending you these signals like you have to be alert right now in case something goes wrong. You got to be ready to respond to it. What are you gonna do? Flap your arms? keep the bird in the sky? I don't think so. And of course, everybody, you know, they've gone over the statistics of, you know, whether it's safer to be in the air or, you know, in the taxi on the way to the airport. Now I actually live my best life when it comes to that. I think the way you're supposed to react is when people say, oh, you're more likely to die on the way to the airport than you are in the airplane itself. That's all well and good, but now I'm extremely anxious on the way to the airport because I'm like, this is where they get you. This is the danger zone. Then when I get to the airport, I'm like, nothing bad could conceivably happen here. I'm looking forward to it, you know, I'll be away for like 5 or 6 days. Parental birthdays, anniversaries, seeing family I haven't seen in a long time, trying to explain what my job is to them, even though I've done it for years. I envy people that have like, well, envy is not really the right word, I guess. What's it like to have a large, like, extended family of people that you hang out with on the regular? You know, I'm trying to think of a good example. What about the Clumps? Yeah, that's right, from Nutty Professor 2. Well, some of them are in the first one as well, but anyway. You know, I don't have that. I grew up, I'm an only child that I know of, and most of my growing up was like me and my parents, which was fine. It's actually like, this sounds callous, but it makes me, I really appreciate it every holiday season when people are like, well, I got, you know, Christmas at my mom's, Christmas at my dad's, and then grandma throws a Christmas, and then my cousins are having a New Year's thing, and I'm like, man, we got like one Christmas thing we go to, and that's it. Now that I'm married, we have 2 Christmas things we go to occasionally, you know, but... Or sometimes 0, depending on when, you know, I happen to be in my hometown or not in my hometown, but... I wouldn't say I'm envious, but what's it like? Because I have a weird relationship with my family outside of my parents. Not like in a 18-plus NSFW title sort of way, that kind of weird relationship, but more like, you know, whenever I've known my cousins, like, as long as I've been alive. But things are, it's still kind of like every time we meet, it's for the first time. Like, they're like, how's, you know, the YouTube thing? And I'm like, it's good. How's whatever you're doing? They're like, oh, it's sick. And I'm like, cool, cool, cool. Cool, well, good talk. Alright, see you next year when we do this again, over and over, I guess, until one of us just eventually dies? I don't know how it works. Like, so your cousins... And this is probably common knowledge, I'm assuming. Your cousins are your parents' siblings' children. So, you know, I have like 5 or 6 cousins that I know of. That joke's gonna get old pretty quick. My parents are close to some of them. Because they're still in the town where we grew up. Which, by the way, I don't take that as... You know, I know if you grew up listening to... Don't Stop Believing by Journey, it's like a sin to still live in the town where you went to high school. I don't live in the town where I went to high school, but this town's not that bad. You know, you can make a good life there, there's good jobs. It's not like, you know, a rotting husk of society. I always find it weird, you know, people I love Crack the Sky, by the way, but I also love Shoop da Whoop. People are like, I gotta leave this town. Maybe the problem's with you. Maybe you're taking your problems to a new town instead of quarantining them. That's a surprisingly difficult word. But anyway, so one of my cousins was staying over at my parents' house, and she lives in Amsterdam now, which is really cool. She's, like, actually smarter than I am, and I'm not even being sarcastic with that. You know, she's, like, trilingual. She speaks English, French, and Arabic fluently. I've never tested her on the Arabic, but, you know, it seems like she knows what she's doing. She's also, software developer to some extent. Works for a not-for-profit organization. So yeah, if you thought I was like the darling cousin, where, you know, everybody's jealous of me when I go to the family gatherings, I don't know, it might be a close race. But, I think she's got me beat. She's a good person. But she was staying with my parents when she came down for a visit, and I called my parents, because, you know, I like to stay in touch, and you know, touch base occasionally, and they're like, how's it going? And I'm like, good. And they're like, how's business? And I'm like, it's good. A couple of 12-year-olds yelled at me online because I picked the wrong card in Slay the Spire, but it's, you know, not so bad. And they were like, hey, your cousin's here. Let's, you want to talk to her? And you can't say no, because, like, your family. And it's not that I don't want to talk to her. It's just that we got nothing to talk about. So, you know, we get on the phone. It's the same how you doing? Good. How's work? Good. See ya in 2 years. Hopefully not at a funeral. I'm just wondering, like, if our family's the weird one, or if maybe even the family's fine and I'm just this weird outcast because I moved out west and I've missed out on all that, like, 20 to 30-year-old adult bonding that you do as your extended family. Oh, we gotta go for this. This is how you know, like, we haven't talked about Isaac in, like, a floor. That's how you know we're set. We're gonna win this run. Because my cousins, you know, when we were growing up, every year for Christmas, that was, like, the only time I saw them. It was Christmas and funerals, and I'm not trying to be, like, crass. It's just that was when we saw our family. Christmas, Easter, and funerals. And I guess Canadian Thanksgiving. But now, like, they're having kids. And I gotta tell you, this is not a classic Northernlion bit about, you know, oh, this guy in his late 20s thinks that he's 100 years old. But I used to think, you know, oh my god, people that I knew from high school are having kids. I'm old. Then you'd be like, people that I know from college are deliberately having kids. Now I'm really old. Now, I saw one of my classmates from, like, 4th grade, who I've never spoken to since, like, the year 1999, but, you know, this was back in the heyday of Facebook, where you're like, I'm gonna add everybody I've ever known. Why wouldn't I want everybody I've ever known to see every photo ever taken of me by anybody I've ever known? It was a different era of naivete, and to be honest, to some extent, I miss it, but we're smarter now. They just had a kid, which is very selfish, but we'll talk about that in a different episode. But no, they just had a kid, and here was my new revelation. I was like, oh my god, that kid is going to be as old as I am now in the year, well, I mean, what's 29 plus 18? 2047. 2047! That's absurd! I'm getting that situation you get in, like, you know, I'm sure when Terminator first came out. Ooh, a doubled Tammy's head. Let's check it. And you're like, 1999? That's so far away. And now, you know, you watch the movie and you go, 1999? Really? I want to see. Yeah, this will be a horrendous choice for us. I'm fine with Tammy's head. Or sorry, I'm fine with. Oh my god, the speed of the shot on that. In awe of the absolute speed of this lad. I gotta try it once more. Nah, it's an extremely bad idea. Okay, so what are we gonna do?
2 of diamonds.
Well, we're obviously gonna get rid of Guppy's or Tammy's head in order to take Shoop da Whoop, and then we should be okay. But I probably, if we were looking specifically to win, I shouldn't have taken this. But I mean, again, that's how you know. Like, I'm in it for Zane. I looked at this item and I said, you know what? This is Zane potential, and I'm ready to go. 48-hour energy. Hematemesis. Second secret room? No. So yeah, that's what's mind flooding me now. On age. You know, I guess you go through fits and spurts. It never stops, I guess, until you die, which you probably would prefer not to, you know? But when you're 60 years old, you're like, people I knew in high school are starting to die. And then when you're 80, you're like, they're dying of old age. And then you're like, their kids are getting age-related health issues. Like, it never ends. It sounds like overly dour, but that's not really the way I mean it. It's just, you know, it's a necessary part of life. Hey. Hey! Hitting things right now is a little difficult. It's like our shot speed is too high. This is a very classic, like, botched mom fight, by the way. To have only bombs... Oh, at least they are homing bombs. Well, one of them was a homing bomb. What's up with that? To have only bombs against Red Mom is like a classic you messed up. Let's go. We're safe. Got the Polaroid. Don't want any of this garbage. Give me the host hat and free my soul. I want to take my streak to 38 and drift away. It doesn't even have a set. There was no attempt made to create a rhyme there. You ever think it's weird that, like, 99% of the music that we listen to rhymes? Doesn't that... Sometimes, if you don't think about it, it doesn't seem weird. But sometimes I think about it, and I'm like... It really feels like we're restricting a lot of our, you know, songwriting and storytelling ability by forcing it to rhyme in most situations. It just seems like this weird, arbitrary holdover from, like, the Middle Ages. It's like, people, they'll, like, critique a songwriter and be like, well, the lyric doesn't rhyme that much. That's how we're critiquing art? Is that you can't rhyme X with X. Now that I understand. It's considered a faux pas to rhyme a word with itself. But this is, you know, it's art. It's not like a grade school assignment. Make a song from 3 to 5 minutes long without rhyming the word with itself again. I'm just saying, like, it's like the same weird criticism as, like, well, rap isn't music because they don't sing. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not necessarily comparing, you know, Pusha T to Beethoven or something like that, even though I think that comparison is not necessarily anathema. However, anathema, let me go, Beelzebub. I haven't listened to new Pusha T. I understand it's like 8 minutes long, but, you know, I'll get to it. It's well respected. That's all you need to know for now. But, you know, I'm very sorry to let you know, oh, you listen to classical music? It's not classical music, because they don't sing, except in an opera. And let me give you the dirty little secret about classical music from someone who doesn't appreciate classical music, and you're going to think that I'm a Philistine, and you might be right. It's not that I don't like classical music. I do like classical music. In case you've forgotten, or you never knew in the first place, my wife is an oboist. I go to so many classical music concerts. I'm going to be straight up with you. Probably at like 30% of them, about halfway through, I'm like, I have no memory of any... Like, I'm adrift in music. I have no idea what I'm listening to. I have no idea what the themes are. Sometimes after the show, she'll be like, what was your favorite part? And now I have to, like, consciously, in my head, like, lock in a melody. Like, it's like the part when they go... It's not as easy as you might think, you know. Classical music concerts are, like... literally 2 hours long most of the time. And that's like 3 songs, 3 pieces technically. They really needed an editor back then. Like, can you just picture Quincy Jones in the studio with Beethoven? And he's like, alright Beethoven, baby, you got a sick hook going on here with that, you know, dun 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 dun. I think that's gonna turn the music industry on its head. But then you got like 45 minutes of... What if we just cut that out and built the whole song around that... I think it could really tighten it up a little bit, to be honest with you. Why take Lord of the Pit? That's such a stupid decision. Such a needless pickup right now, but I was like, oh, I can afford it. Mind you, we don't really need... There we go. We don't really need red hearts, but it's still pretty dumb. That's what I get for talking smack about Beethoven. Anyway. This is not meant as an insult to classical music. I was talking about the rhyming stuff. The rhyming just seems like an old holdover to me. What do you mean you can, like, I know you can have a song that doesn't rhyme. I'm just saying. You know what I think it is that rhyming is like, and this we're gonna get very, very slightly DAE right now. Rhyming is like the oldest form of metadata. Like, it helps you remember how to pass on a song when there's no digital recording, you know, Thomas Edison cylinders, etc., etc. So it makes sense, you know, in the 1400s you need your songs to rhyme because it basically means you have to remember half as much data. You know, you remember one line and then you think about what the rhymes could be and you figure it out for yourself. You're not actually remembering the whole song. Oh my god. That's a lot of battery charges. You're remembering, like, some of the song, and then piecing the rest together dynamically on the fly. I think, at least. I'm not a neurologist, nor a musician, nor really a programmer, to be honest, so... I'm in a bit over my head. How could I have ever been so blind? I was thinking about it, like... Again, this is another common bit redux, but I was thinking, like, the human brain is incredible. I've been riding my bike a lot. In case you're playing Northernlion Plays Isaac Bingo, we got programming, riding my bike, recycled bit. I'm old, even though I told you the bit was not about being old. We eventually got there. So we got like all the hallmarks of a classic episode here. Getting a little scared here too, but so I'm listening to. I'm trying to every few rides get something new, right? In the music department. So I've been drudging up, like, what did I listen to when I actually cared about new music? Now, I could listen to new music, but again, you know, who am I trying to impress? So instead, I'm like, alright, you know what's a classic album? The Hold Steady Boys and Girls in America, one of 2006's best albums. Haven't listened to it in its entirety in probably, like, 10 years, literally. First notes come in, instantly I remember every lyric in the entire song. And like, even the weird stuff, like when the harmony comes in and stuff like that. Brain, why are you storing that data? I know you can't help it, like it's not like I made a decision to store it, but get that out of here. You don't need to store that data. Help me do a little bit better on my final exam that comes up, you know, this Saturday. Get all the stuck between stations lyrics out of there. All you need to store is a little nugget of data that says, I like this song. I'm not, you know, gonna be replacing the lead singer of the Hold Steady anytime soon. It's just needless. But also, I was like, it's pretty amazing that, you know, the brain can hear this data, and then in like a second, it's like, I got that for you. And yet sometimes, you know, when the ticket taker at the movie theater rips your ticket and says enjoy your movie, you say me too. Or sorry, you too. I've been reading the Hollywood Reporter lately. Dude, I never should have taken Dr. Fetus on this run. We may die. And it's all gonna be Dr. Fetus's fault. If I had just stuck with Tammy's head and our piercing shots that were incredibly high damage, we would have been set. But your boy lives and dies by the Zane potential. So we got a heart and a half, a chip in a chair. That's all you need, baby. Sort of. Please be dead. It's not like you're too much of a threat in this phase, but... Okay, well, if you think I'm going to the void, what was it like to be born yesterday? Sick burn. Would that have gotten it? That wouldn't have. That probably would have. Could it be here? You gotta check, baby. See, I'm trying to get those B words out there. Obviously, that was trash, but it wouldn't have been trash if we didn't take Lord of the Pit for no reason. So, be cool. Good items, please. HP, anything that extends our ability to keep ourselves alive. Now I want Tammy's head back. So, Pyromaniac is very, very good. This room scares the crap out of me right now. I really, like, I don't want to oversell it, but I gotta focus pretty intently here. Gotta keep that guy on the screen, just in case he chose to fire his laser. So what wins us the game now? What unique cluster of items wins us the game? I would love a speed down, big HP up, like Lard. Because as long as we have 2 HP, it's tough for us to die. Beautiful. Shoop the Whoop is doing wonders. You know, once every 2 rooms should be pretty simple. I don't know. I also wouldn't mind just picking up, like, any HP. Be it, Spirit Hearts, Demon Hearts. I really, really do need to focus. It pains me. We've had a very banter-focused episode. I've had a lovely time. But now we gotta put our money where our mouth is, you know? That's why Northernlion Isaac episodes are a very unique type of entertainment. There's nothing else like it on planet Earth. It's like the ravings of a lunatic combined with the unique kind of skill you can only get from an obsessive dedication to a craft. Like, this room is a really good indicator that we're in trouble. The fact that we're having so much trouble killing a couple of super envies is very disconcerting. I think we're 50-50. Like, obviously we got a lot of killing potential. It's just very hard to hit enemies. That's cool. There was a secret room access here. You have to check, obviously. Now, I don't really care about Bomb Bag at all. But I love the chance. We have Mystery Sack. Mystery Sack can give us some Spirit Hearts or something, for sure. See, this is what I mean. Like, on paper, our stats are incredible, so... unfortunately, the game ain't played on paper, bub. Is that you? 1930s Wolverine, but also Mickey from Rocky? Yeah, that's right, Rock. Alright, Bob's Curse is fine. This room, I am a genius, basically. For not taking damage on that room, I deserve some kind of prize. I'm not going to say it has to be a Nobel Prize, but... You know, would that be deserved? Yeah, probably. I mean, it's one of the best rooms I've ever seen in my entire life. Great methodical dodging. We might as well walk into a room, use Flush, and then immediately be disappointed by the fact that it's obviously not what we wanted here. So Greed has got to go. And then if you kill this guy last, you might just find yourself getting 9 lives. We didn't get 9 lives, we got a judgment. It's a bomb judgment. What is wrong with you? I don't want a bomb literally, like... Oh, you idiot. Oh, what? You genius? Alright, well, I can't be too upset. I am a little upset because I have no friggin' idea of where we're supposed to go. Like, we've already been... we haven't been here. Obviously. Yep. Just gonna say, one of you's gotta go. I'm insanely lucky that my invincibility lasted as long as it did. I deserve this. It's what I deserve. I'm very sad to have been killed by a dip, but I made some bad decisions on this run, and I have to accept, you know, after a month or so of pretty good play, little lackadaisical attitude got to me. Either way, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the episode. We'll be back to do, I don't know, probably just do 2 eyes a day regardless, because I'm having fun with it. If you enjoyed it, click the like button. It helps out a great deal. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. For now, thanks for watching. I will see you next time. No tears.